छाया आसमान देखो झूमता गगन है छाया आसमान देखो झूमता गगन ज़मीन आसमान झुक गया झूमता गगन मेरे झूम ले जहां ये कैसा नशा प्यार का समा रही समा झूमे आसमान होश तो खोले प्यार तू ले ले संग मेरे झूम गा कैसा नशा होश है कहाँ होश तो खोले प्यार तू ले ले संग मेरे झूम गा Hello, hello, hello. Who is here? Is anybody here? It's G. We're in the star room. And it's Saturday, May 3rd. Frickin' May frickin' 3rd. Wow. Here we go. I just burned some of my energy cleansing. And now we got some great cedar. Gonna set this tone and light this candle, and we're gonna go. So one more round here. There we go. Awesome. Okay. I'm glad that everything is working. It looks like everything is working. They were showing that I didn't have any internet. And I was like, oh, of course. And I had a feeling it might be kind of a night like that because when I woke up today, you know, when you wake up with a cat on your head, you're always like, oh, great. What kind of a day is this going to be? But like my phone was completely, totally on the fritz. Like totally. It wouldn't, like the screen just stayed black. And I was like, oh, please. I know I'm overdue, but damn, not right now, please. Hold on one second. Hold on a minute. This is freaky. Okay, so where are we at? All right, let me clear out. I had 2 StreamYards going. My bad. All right. So let me find the chat. I don't know where you guys are. Is there anybody here? It says there's somebody here. Yeah. If it's a slow night, then yeah, we'll see what happens. Here we go. Here's the chat. Okay, we got some people here. Okay, because I know someone sent me digits already for a look-see at their chart. It's a brand new chart I haven't seen before. So CG, that's who it is. I got your info, CG. I got your chart drawn up. Thank you for handling it the way that makes it easy for me, which is getting your stuff to me before the freaking live begins. That is like, that way I already have your chart drawn up and we don't have to spend the time listening to me struggle to get the damn chart on the screen. So I don't know if you've seen your chart before, CG. Real quick, I have a Cancer rising at 5 degrees because I don't want to read a chart if it's not the right chart. I'm not even going to go that way. It's a waste of time. So Cancer rising at 5 degrees, a Leo moon at 9 degrees. Let me see what else. Let me move some things out of the way here. Oh, man. I was just trying to, anyway. For a while there, it was like before the lives, I had everything organized, and my mom's on a really late schedule today, and so I was just literally just hung up the phone. Like I said goodnight to her and pressed the live. Like, okay, we're ready now. She had just gotten back from her walk. So, but she made it back to her apartment, which is great. Yeah, like the live. That would be great. I should do the same thing. Let me get my phone. I'm the worst at it. But yeah, that's a great idea. How is everybody doing this evening? Oh, I should probably do that. Yeah. Give it to the other one. The thumb at the top. That's the one. All right. So we're going to see who's all here, say hello, and then we're going to get to work because we've already got, like I said, I've already got a person who sent me their digits. Hopefully that 5 degrees is good. So where's CG? CG, let me know you think that's you. Okay. So you don't know. You're not really sure about your chart. All right. Well, then we'll read it. So current list, Stacy, Christy's passing, Stacy's first, then teamwork, then CG. All right, short list tonight. Well, you know what happens then, right? We go to paranormal. And I'm going to tell you, I got a good one. It's not my story, though, and I'm not the best paranormal storyteller, but I know someone who is. So, yeah, if this ends up being that kind of a night, I am really more than happy to share that with you guys when the time comes, because I was like, ooh, ooh, this is a good one to share. So, Stacy, how the heck are you? I see you're here because you already wrote up the list. Thank you very much for all that you do. I appreciate it, Stacy. And by the way, if it's your first time here, if you're listening, you haven't been here before, my name is G, and this is the Star Room. And we do a private Star Room, a private Starry Night Lives, the last Saturday of every month. Okay, the last Saturday of every month. It is limited room available. It's half full as of right now. And so that will be for the private lives at the end of May. And if you're interested in that, you send an email to me. The email address is right in the details down below. And let me know that you want to be part of the private lives. It's not on YouTube. It is private. You just let me know and we'll communicate from there, and we'll go from there with the details. All right. So here we are. Stacy and Christy's there saying hello, hello, hello. Hello, everybody. Teamwork is there. What's going on, Teamwork? How are you doing? How is Canada? Right? You're in Canada? I know you guys should be happy. Your elections are over. I know I'm happy. I know I'm happy for you. I'm like, God, I wish we could have him. Yeah. Someone who doesn't just talk, but someone who's got the brains. Man. All right. Stacy said, I was getting lonely. Oh, I don't think so, Stacy. You got that dog keeping your ass really busy. Keeping you busy. How are the ribs? Speaking of that, my gosh, right? Somebody was just saying, somebody was watching that live stream. I guess I replayed that one. Yeah, then when we were on the private live, so anyway. And there were some comments under there like, oh my God, Stacy really went through it. I'm like, yeah, I know. Like, dang. All right. So Christy, how are you doing? Oh, Christy's working, I see. All right. Team Wolf is feeling better. That's good. I didn't know you weren't feeling well, but it's been tricky. It's been a tricky time. When Neptune is in Aries, Neptune makes us sleepy. It can make us feel run down and take away the Aries energy. It takes the edge off. So for some folks who are like super on the edge and ready to go toe to toe, the Neptune in Aries can be helpful because it can kind of make them, it's okay to be around you now. You know what I mean? It can kind of chill that Martian energy a little bit. But if you don't have really strong Aries energy, if you already have some kind of, just if you have other challenges, then the Neptune in Aries can be, well, you got to get a lot of sleep. You know, you might need more sleep than usual. Like that's Neptune, makes us feel drowsy and under the influence. And we just kind of want Calgon, take me away, and just be in the movies and the books. And yeah. All right. So Team Wolf said I'm passing. Look at that. Wow, we got a small list and like half the people are passing. Well, for folks who are listening, if there's anybody listening that's not here in the chat who was thinking about it, then that's what people do sometimes. They'll just sit in there and watch, and they're not in the chat, but they're just listening. They're observing and like, okay, is this chick legit? What is this? What is this craziness that's going on? Yeah, it might be a good night to get your digits in. All right, so Stacy's ready. She says to send me the link. Okay. The ribs are slowly healing. Still dog sitting 3 dogs. God blessed. That I'm wondering how that works on the ribs exactly. Like, how do you feed the dogs, right? There's a lot of bending over and picking shit up and animals and literally, yeah, anyway, and taking them out. And that's got to be a lot of work on the ribs, man. Although maybe the movement is good. I have no idea. I don't know, but usually broken, they were broken, right? Usually shit that's broken, it's supposed to kind of just sit so it can set, right? I don't know. I'm feeling for you. I know that just breathing would be painful. Okay, let me get the link to I'm babbling. Let me just get this link in here, and so you can ask. Yeah, let's see what we got here. Here's the link for you. Link is for Stacy. We go in order. It is first come, first serve for anybody who hasn't been here before. So there is a method to this madness, believe it or not. Stacy normally will post the order in which you go in. She has a list, and that's how it goes. You can figure it out for yourself when your turn is just by seeing when you come next. You right? I mean, that's just how it works. So let me see if I can find Stacy. I think she's here. Let me see if I got my volume up so when she gets in here, we can hear her. Stacy. Oh, Christy's working on a project. Shocker. Okay, Stacy, it says you're here.
I'm
Hello?
here. Can you hear me?
Hello, hello. I think I hear you.
Can you
Are you
hear me?
Price? All right, we got you.
Okay, cool.
I can hear you now. Very good.
Yeah,
How's it
no,
going?
it's oh gosh. It's 3 dogs,
Okay, I
including
won't go there.
that includes my own. I feel like I have 12 children. Um
Well, she counts as
anyways,
2.
well, no, she doesn't know how big she is or small she is, and so the other
Yeah.
dogs are huge, and like she's 12 pounds and the other dogs are like 80 to 100 pounds, and she thinks she can
So
kick
she's
their
running with the big
asses.
dogs.
And
Hopefully they're wearing her ass out.
well, she's got one boyfriend, and then the other
Mhm.
dog's a girl, and she's older, and she doesn't like Chloe,
Yeah,
and
she's
so
older and it's like, "Get the hell away from me. You're
yeah,
annoying the shit out of
and
me." Yeah.
so she's kind of
Yeah.
she's
Yep.
like just she barks at me constantly, and it's because my showed my uncle because it's all family stuff going on
Right.
here. Anyways, I showed my uncle a video of her barking. He's like, she wants something from you, and I'm like, yeah, she wants me to get rid of the little terror.
Oh. She wants you to get rid of
That's what she
your
wants.
dog. Oh,
Yeah.
Lord. She's like, "Oh, that ain't
I was like,
happening."
no. And I
No.
had a telemed appointment with my doctor today, and my ribs are just slowly healing. It takes time. And
Yeah.
yes, there is a lot of bending over. I got to feed the dogs. I got to pick
Yeah,
up
that just sounds like a
dog
nightmare for
crap. I
healing
got to,
ribs. Yeah. It just
yeah. And
sounds like
then,
a pain.
then I let the dogs out and they bark. And
Yeah,
once
that's what
I
they
let them
do.
out because they're driving, yeah, they're driving me nuts. And then the neighbors who are also related are calling somebody out of state who's dealing with their daughter. Well, it's actually he would end up being my first cousin once removed. He was just born, who may die
Oh.
to complain about this petty stuff. It's like, I have asked them about the dogs. Does it bother you? Blah, blah, blah. Anyways, I'll get off my rant. I want to do his chart, the little guy's chart someday, and see. I think he's got to do a gene and then get an infusion once his liver heals, and then hopefully he'll be okay. But it'd be
Well,
interesting to
whenever
look
you
at
have their
his.
digits, send them to the email.
Okay, I have them, but
Because
anyways,
otherwise,
I'm
yeah.
going to the. Hear that? I'm going to the bathroom. Binks, you leave. Chloe, get your ass in here.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm
Anyways.
confused. Are you done? Is that did I hear you right?
No,
Oh, okay.
no.
I'm like, okay, that was easy.
No. So my question is real quick, because I want other people to have a chance, especially people that, if they're just looking and would like to have a chance, or like something red. But I'm trying to control dogs. Anyways, and I'll go to the bathroom if they start barking. My question is, if you see in my chart anywhere for this next week, I applied for a grant and I want to see if if it shows anything in my chart for this week.
Oh, for this week.
Yeah, they said
Okay.
they should know any day now. That was last week.
right, let's pull
Whether
this
I'm
up.
approved or not.
Let's pull this up. Didn't we look at this already once before?
I think we
And
kind of did.
let me see it.
It was
Let me see if
But now I can narrow it down to
right. Well, yeah, because I
more of
thought
it.
we kind of were. Let's
We
see.
talked about it a little bit, but it was like, for what does a month ahead look like?
Yeah, let's take a quick peek here and see what we can see. Oh Lord, I hear fireworks.
At least it's not barking dogs.
Yeah. Says the woman that recently got a dog.
Well, she doesn't bark like this, and this isn't like earth shattering. It's like, in fact, my dog Christy will be bummed with all this barking that's been going on. Chloe's ear that stood up fell down. She used to have one ear that stood up. And
Oh,
one ear
right.
went flop. And
Right.
Christy really liked that. And now, since we've been here with all the barking, both ears are down. And I don't know what is up with that.
Huh.
I gotta find. I don't know if I should take her to the vet, or it's just
Maybe it was
something
just the
that.
fact that she's older now and she's filling out, and maybe the ear finally is just doing the droop thing. No, maybe like it's
Well,
bigger.
I was
mean,
finally getting
that's
used. I was finally getting used to it. At first, it was giving me OCD, and now I'm like, oh shit, what happened to your ear?
well, as long as nobody gnarled it off of her and chewed it up or anything, I think she's probably fine.
Well, the two dogs that get in a fight, thankfully, the older one and her, the older one doesn't have any teeth left, and thankfully for the older one, Chloe's teeth are really kind of blunt from chewing on deer antlers. So otherwise, the older one would have bloody legs. Because
all right, I'm
they
looking
get
in your
into
chart
it.
here, and so what we have coming up is the Pluto retrograde beginning. That begins tomorrow, actually.
In my second house.
Yeah, it's in your second house, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to see real quick, because that would be, you've got it in the second. It's Aquarius energy. You also have some Aquarius in the third house, and yeah, let me see about the Mercury next, because Mercury is going to be the news and the information that you get. So Mercury is at the 19-degree mark. Mercury is going to move. So it'll be tomorrow's Sunday. So you're not going to hear anything on Sunday. So if anything, it'll be like Monday.
Right.
So let's see. Mercury is going to be on your 5th house cusp line.
Huh.
All right. And the 5th house, let me see. You do have your Leo energy. You got a lot up there. 23, 24, 24. Yeah, you're Regulus. Okay. So you've got a point of victory at 23 degrees in Leo. Did you know that? You have a part of victory at 23 degrees of Leo. It's in your 9th house.
Okay.
It's in your 9th house. And then there's the Sultan's victories at 24 degrees of Leo. So that Mercury is not only conjunct your 5th house. Now, 5th house, I wouldn't associate it necessarily with, the grant stuff.
But Leo is like government, right?
Well, it's boss energy. 9th house can be considered government. You follow? Because we think Jupiter.
Yeah.
We think Jupiter. The other thing, too, maybe this is what you were concerned about, but like Neptune, the Neptune energy, the 12th house energy, right? Government energy, institutional energy. And your Pisces energy is all down here in the 3rd and the 4th house. So with the Mercury entering into your 5th house, well, that'll be Mercury sending a nice sextile to your Chiron.
Okay.
Well, the Chiron is the wounds.
Right.
Wounds from the past. Your Chiron's in Pisces. It's institutional energy. It is in the 3rd house of communication.
Okay.
Even though it's conjunct your 4th house, but it is sitting in your 3rd. And the transiting Chiron up in the sky. Your Mercury and Chiron together are going to be talking to your Chiron. So it's a supportive sextile. And, technically Aries energy usually initiates. It's a beginning of something. So this grant thing, does it have anything to do with the past?
Not with the past. It's a grant for some household stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So for my new apartment.
Mm-hmm. Well, Virgo energy would be the practical energy. And so would the 6th house energy, right? So there's going to be the household stuff, the practical things. If it's big items like Uranus energy or smaller items?
It's like a couch and a bed.
Okay, that's not Uranus. Gotcha. All right. Well, that just helps me to kind of better understand what to look for. It's not like you need a new air conditioner or something, or it's just some smaller items. So basically it's just like it's a Venus Taurus, I get a check kind of energy.
I don't
Uranus
get the check,
is,
but yeah.
well, however it works. Uranus is at the 26 degrees. And that matters because in your chart, 26 is kind of a big deal. Your midheaven on this chart is at 26 and your south node is sitting there. I'm sorry, the transiting south node is there, but you've got a couple of items sitting there right at 25 on your midheaven as well. So Uranus is making contact with that node and with that midheaven. And that means that you also have 26 on the 4th house cusp line. And see, it's for the home. So the 4th house does matter. The 4th house is a big deal here. You got 26 at both ends.
Mm-hmm.
You follow? And then Sirius is going to be there. So authority figure is Uranus energy. It's authority figure in money because it's Taurus. It's partnership energy. So the connection with that to your Chiron, Uranus sextiles your Chiron. You see the Taurus
Oh,
and the Pisces
oh,
is in a nice sextile. So I mean, yeah, I don't see anything aspecting the third house where it's like, okay, because like you said, you don't get a check. However, it's done. Um,
yeah, it goes to a different agency and they purchase the stuff and then
so they
it
actually
gets
supply
delivered.
the items.
Right,
Yeah, they don't give you the money to spend. Right.
right.
Well, it sounds like a Venus gift to me, like a Venus gift.
Mm-hmm.
So Venus on Monday is at 3 degrees, communication, information. And yeah, you have are you all right there, Stacy?
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'm just checking. I'm hearing a whole lot going on. The Venus at 3 is a nice strong sextile to Pluto, which is in your second house. Now, both of these
Okay.
are but these are both just transits. You don't have anything
Right.
at 3 degrees in Aquarius. You don't have anything at 3 degrees in Aries, but they are in those houses for you. Now, I know I can hear the dogs and their nails on the floor from here.
No, I'm just praying that they don't start barking.
You probably
'Cause-
drug them up and shit to sleep overnight, right? Be like, here you go, take this.
no, I
They
don't.
have
I
like
wish I
rescue remedy
could.
for dogs.
Oh,
Keep
I
them on the
tried
chill
that
if
on
they get
Chloe
crazy.
once. Oh no, here we go. Here goes Lucy. She's. I try not to mention their names. I try not to make eye contact.
What I do like is
Crazy.
You're going to have Humea on the partnership energy right at 24. You have Humea, significant one-on-one relationships. So that Humea is
Okay.
also, there's a partnership. There's strong energy for partnerships here with you. And Juno, of course, is across the way. So in your chart, it's usually not just a really obvious big object type of thing that happens. There's usually a whole lot of small little things that kind of connect the dots and add up because you have
Right.
you're spread out all over the place kind of nicely, actually, but you do have those significant 26 degrees in the fourth and at your midheaven. So when we have something at our midheaven, that's our goal. That's what we were working towards. And Virgo is the details and it's practical. And that's
Right.
exactly what you're talking about. You're looking for something that's practical. So for this week, to say that you're going to get the news, whether it's a phone call or an email or a letter in the mail, um, I keep going right back to Mercury. And when Mercury hits that 23 degrees in Aries, 23, 24, and she's with Chiron, it does square your natal Mercury. It's a square to your natal Mercury. Your natal Mercury's at
Mm-hmm.
24. Usually the squares create stress and tension. But
Right.
this is in your 8th house. So it kind of brings up more of the family stuff, if you ask me, because it's in Cancer energy. And well, I think the family stuff's been a big deal for you.
Oh yeah.
I think, yeah, you've been mentioning that. And so it just kind of, yeah, it reignites some of that you've already been dealing with. So let's see what we can, 28, 29. What I will say is the Mercury will trine your second house cusp line.
Okay.
So when you get to like Tuesday, Wednesday, Mercury's exactly trining your second house cusp line at 27 degrees in Sag. And remember, that's Jupiter energy. So that can be also that institutional energy.
Right.
So
Okay.
that's promising because it's Mercury. And that's what we were looking for. If you're going to be getting the news and it's trining your second house cusp line, well, then I'm liking this. And look,
Yeah, it'll
you're
be email or phone call to let
okay,
me
well,
know
your
that I
Fortuna,
was
well, Mercury
approved.
is both of those, but your Fortuna, like a change of fate, is at 28 degrees in Sag, and Mercury will be trining that as well.
Okay.
So this is a very good possibility.
Okay.
Once Mercury gets
I
to like
mean,
the middle of the week. Yep. But
I
it's possible
trust.
you
I
may hear a
trust
little
the.
bit sooner.
Yeah, I trust the committee to make. I mean, they make their decisions based on priority. Somebody that needs money for
Sure.
health reasons
Yeah.
would be before me, and I understand that.
Yeah.
It might seem petty. Oh, I'm asking for a bed,
Well, you have a
but
lot. You have a lot that's going to be sending a trine. It's going to be
uh-huh.
Chiron, it's going to be Eris, it's going to be Mercury. There's a lot of items that speak to your second house cusp line and your Fortuna, which Fortuna promises a change of fortune. So if you suddenly get some gifts, it's like, oh, sweet, this is what I needed.
Right.
So so that piece right there and the Uranus training your midheaven, those are authority figure energies. Both of them. The Jupiter on your second house. So for you, I would say it's a good possibility.
Okay.
It's a good possibility.
Well, it'll be interesting to let everybody know next week what
Absolutely.
happened.
Let us know because, you know, without looking at all the other, yeah, with just looking at this, it's a good possibility.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. And CG is next on the list to see if anybody else
Okay.
is
Thank you.
popped on.
All right. I
You're
appreciate it.
welcome.
Yep. Thank you, Stacy.
Talk to you later.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye. Poor Stacy. She's got her hands, her feet, her legs. It sounds like she's got 17 leashes going to keep the dogs under control. Oh shit. Yeah. All righty. So CG is next. So CG, I haven't looked at your chart before, so I have to look at your basic chart. And that's what I'm gonna do. And I don't know if you were able to find out if this is your birth chart, but Cancer Ascendant, 5 degrees. Let me see if you want the link because I will not be reading the chat while I'm reading this chart. And you may not want the link because, I don't know, you might be uncomfortable. You might not want to be on, and that's totally fine. But in case you want it to have a rapport, here is the link for you. This is just your natal chart, by the way. I can't do anything else until I have a look at a person's natal chart. So let me take a look at this for you. And I got to get this on the screen. That might help. Taffy is at the door. I hear her. And let me see if I can get this. Let me see if we can get this chart on the screen here. Yeah, there we go. You got that? Okay, let me go get this little rugrat and then we'll start. So CG, this is when I say your ascendant. I know, I just went all over the place. That's what I'm talking about. Your rising sign is your ascendant. 5 degrees of Cancer, that's what I have. So what I'll do is read this chart and you should be able to confirm or deny if this is you by the things that I tell you. You should be able to say, oh yeah, that's me, or hell no. Hold on. Yes. Okay, get comfy. All righty. Okay, so did CG pick up the link? Oh yeah, CG did. Let's get the link. Let's say hello to CG real quick here. Hello, hello, hello.
Hi.
Is there anybody
Can
there?
you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you. Excellent. All right.
Awesome.
And we
Hi.
can hear you clearly. That's super important. I'm glad. All right. So first things first, this chart shows a Cancer ascendant and a Leo moon. And yeah, I knew your sun was down here. Yeah, you 29-degree Libra sun. Wow. All right. So the first thing that jumped out when I drew your chart up, was the Saturn. You have a retrograde Saturn at 20 degrees. So this is about, it's like boss energy, authority figure energy. It is very serious energy. Oh, I think we just lost CG. There might be a difficult internet night. Let me see. It says that she's here. Hold on. Let me see. Hello?
Hi, I'm here.
Oh, you are? Okay. I don't know what happened.
It dropped for a moment.
Alrighty. Like she came back fast. All right. So I don't know if you heard me, but the Saturn kind of jumped out first to me.
Mhm.
Saturn energy is really serious energy. We see Saturn energy and it's like the adult in the room. That's Saturn.
Mhm.
All right. So you've got your Saturn at 20 degrees in Taurus. It's a retrograding Saturn. So it's about money and finances and values and earth energy, creature comforts and food. Like that's all Taurus kind of stuff. Okay. It's fixed energy, very fixed. So it can be extremely stubborn. And because you have a retrograde Saturn, according to this chart, whoo, it can truly make you feel um, like when it comes to social causes, social matters, humanitarian type of stuff, like this energy with Saturn there, it kind of makes it part of a lifelong aspiration, but really more of a duty and a responsibility with group energy. So the other part of that, though, is that with Taurus energy being so fixed and stubborn, and you having moments of either actually being the authority figure or just having like that goal to always
Mhm.
wanting to be the boss of whatever or whoever. And a lot of times the group energy for some people, I've seen people's charts where the 11th house sometimes shows up like with family, even because our family is the first group that we're connected to,
Right.
right? As
Right.
children. But this 11th house is normally our friends, like our friends, like our social groups that we belong to, um, and who we gather with, and just yeah, whether it's who the hell knows. There's all sorts of different groups, right? But this is definitely a strong energy, and Saturn in a retrograde makes it just intensifies duty, responsibility. It might feel like a burden, but it is going to be kind of a ferocious type of energy because it's got like a Scorpio vibration to it, which is intense. It adds not just seriousness, but it's a layer of powerful intenseness added to it. So these people are going to be like they have major boss energy about them because they're not just serious, but they also will not back down. It's Scorpio. So it's kind of powerful. It's kind of powerful. Um, the other thing I want to mention too is that when you have a Cancer on the ascendant, these are like uh, Cancer energy is very sensitive. So it's kind of like this empathic energy
Right.
where it's so sensitive, it's feeling things, it's not sure,
Yep.
where or who or what it's coming from, but definitely sensitivities to your physical body. So sometimes our physical body will pick up sensations and feelings and emotions of people around us, especially people we're close to.
Energy. Yeah.
So that sounds like you.
Yes.
Um, so the other thing with the Cancer on the ascendant is that degree, that 5 degrees. That's a fun degree. That's Leo energy, laughter, feeling like a kid, something maybe even like you like creative energy, really creative energy, because it's a mixture of Cancer and Leo.
Mhm.
And it may not necessarily be exactly who you are, but you may appear to look that way because
Right.
it's the ascendant. And so we appear this way. It
Mhm.
doesn't, it's the clothing we wear. There might be some color, lots of color, possibly. Um, just the way that you express, maybe, whether it's the words you use or clothing choices, whatever it
Yeah.
is. But the nurturer. So
Yep.
this energy is really interesting. So I look like a mom, but I can also be like the serious dad role because it's got the authority figure Leo energy connected to it. So it's an interesting combination. And then of course that sensitive nurturing type of vibration to it as well. It's complex.
Right.
Having a Leo moon, Leo is like the king of the jungle, right? And at 9 degrees, the moon is my emotions. It's more Cancer energy. So it's family energy, but Leo's also creative as well, and children and fun and joy. It's also romance and mating, dating, and all that stuff. And it's in your second house of desires. So the moon is how we feel emotionally satisfied. So this is all the Leo keywords are going to be what gives you your emotional satisfaction.
Yep.
That's Leo energy. So you got to have your fun time.
Yep.
You've got to make sure that it's in the calendar. Like if this is who you are, then this means you already know this about yourself because you're already doing it. So creativity should be a thing for you.
Yeah.
Whether you're literally creating, having a good time, finding ways to feel like a kid again, or maybe it's simply play, whatever that looks like, right? But because it's in the second house, food may also be a creative source because the second house is about food. It's more Taurus energy. Sometimes these people can be chefs because Leo's very colorful. So they might do just really fancy, beautiful things with food, whatever. So the Leo energy and family and children would also be how you will feel emotionally satisfied.
Right.
So whether it's your own children or you find possibly others, because it's at the 9-degree mark, which means it's like this expansiveness. It's like this Jupiter type of energy. And so it's kind of like the more the merrier.
Right. Okay.
Now, does this sound like you at all?
I think so. Yeah. Joss is sitting next to me and she's nodding her head. So yes.
Oh, well, sometimes 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 we need somebody else to be like, yeah, that's you. I mean, because sometimes we just don't know ourselves as well as we would like. And sometimes it takes others who know us who are like, yeah, that's you. Well, just remember second house is romance, is desires. And so when I say desires, we're thinking love. Okay. So those relationships, but also the romantic relationships and the moon energy. And the 9 degrees, again, the more the merrier. So, as an adult who has this strong Saturn, very serious side, even though it's in Taurus, making money would probably be a rather serious thing as well. And having financial stability because the moon is in the second house.
Right.
And you've got Saturn in Taurus. So, I mean, I know everybody would be like, well, of course I need money to be emotionally satisfied, and to feel stable. But for you, it would really affect your emotions.
Yeah.
It would really affect your internal world. And so that's a caution because what's difficult about your chart is you have fixed energy and fixed houses. Some would say, no, I love this. And there can be good sides to it. But Taurus and Leo are fixed, right? Which means we won't budge, right? We're very stubborn. And Leo is it's my way or the highway.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just compounded fixed energy. Now, once we kind of learn how to work with it and we see that we're being really stubborn, it takes some time. The fixed sign's got to me, the hardest. Because these are the folks that go to battle, because they won't back down,
Right.
They got the stick-to-itiveness down to, they're the pros at that. But normally it takes big events, big life events for us to realize, oh shit, I have to be a little bit more flexible.
Right.
And it's
Right.
usually life that brings those lessons
Yes.
and how we
I would.
learn it. Okay, so
Mhm.
this sounds like you?
Yes.
Okay.
Sounds familiar.
All right. Well, you should have had a big event in
Oh,
the
I did.
past. If this is your chart because you had the South Node on your Pluto. You had a lot of things. The South Node was traveling right through here. South Node right now is sitting here at 26. Right here at 26. So it just, when this year began, you had it touching your Pluto. Pluto is a change. And
Yeah.
and home and family comes up, and this is more moon energy for you. So in
Mhm.
other words, it speaks to this moon energy here as well. So income and values, it triggers the income and the values, the assets even, my money in the bank. Um, but the home stuff, because Pluto is making a change and it does it on a really deep level. Like when Pluto
Right.
gets done with us, it looks very different. We look
Mhm.
very different. Home could have been very different. And this could have been because it was the South Node. The South Node says I'm releasing something, and Pluto normally says I'm destroying something because I'm going to create something new.
Right. 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 How far back are
Um,
you talking about? Like how far back when you said there was an event? I'm just trying to
this
figure
would
out.
have been the beginning of this year
Right. Okay.
because this is where the South Node was.
Okay.
Like halfway through January, I think the South Node got into Virgo.
Okay.
Does that make sense for you?
Yeah, there's been a series of events, I would say.
Well, that makes sense because you've got stuff at 29 and Pluto at 28. And so the South Node's now sitting at 26. And these
Mhm.
are just these little things. But let me go
Cumulative.
look at the top because you have your midheaven is your like your career and your goals, your long-term goals, whatever your long-term commitments and goals are, is that midheaven energy. So we have the North Node up here right now. And so
Mhm.
that's been going through your 10th house of my long-term goals.
Right.
Okay. And the North Node represents our future. And if you look in your chart, you have a North Node in Pisces. You see that?
Yes.
Yeah. So that means eventually, not right now, and like next year, this you're going to have a North Node return, but that's a year off. So,
What does that mean? Like in
well, it means that
layperson's
normally some say that it reinforces the path that you're already on. And
Okay.
so ninth house can be religion and spirituality, the beliefs about my future.
Mhm.
Pisces is surrender and unity and understanding. Pisces is creative, it's sound, it's movies, it's theatrical, it's music, it's politics, it's
Mhm.
politicians, it's publishing because it's in the ninth house.
Mhm.
It's also travel, foreigners, foreign lands, foreign languages.
Okay.
Publishing, yeah, that's
Okay.
publishing. And
Interesting.
so music and theater, but institution on the serious side, institutional energy is Pisces.
Mhm.
Because this is like actors and yeah, poets and sound. We think sound, sensitivity, sound. And so your work and what you're going to be doing or what you just diligently work towards because it's kind of like a vocation even. That's
Right.
Pisces energy. And this is very sensitive energy. But you have it at the boss degree.
Right.
You do. You have it at the boss. That's the boss degree. And
Mhm.
this Saturn over here that I first started talking about,
Right.
it it rules this area of your chart. It rules this 10th house. So you've got some like very serious energies that keep you grounded, I guess is the best way to put it with 10 degrees in Pisces,
Right.
because we can get lost with Pisces energy. It can be
Mhm.
very delusional and illusional and fantastical and, just my head's all up in the clouds and I can't make things out real clearly.
Mhm.
It's well, kind of how a lot of folks in the US are, where their head is just in the goddamn sand and they don't want to see the truth.
Okay.
you know? But
Mm.
you have you have very serious energy, which can keep this Pisces energy on track.
Okay.
I think that's a huge benefit.
Okay.
So in terms of your institutional energy, like this can be hospitals and doctors, healing institutions. This is also Pisces energy. And your North Node is your soul's goal and what it's working towards, what it wants you to accomplish in this lifetime. It has to do with self. You, yourself, your physical body, possibly your appearance, and then your beliefs about that.
Mm.
Yeah. So whether it's travel or whether it's doing something with foreigners, foreign lands, foreign languages, possibly higher education, going back to school because it's the ninth house. Have you been considering any of this?
Yeah, I have
I mean,
actually.
I know everyone wants to travel, so that's kind of like a no, you know, but higher education is the ninth house.
Okay.
Okay. So maybe you will literally, because that 1 degree is my body. It literally represents the physical body. So maybe it has to do with, freedom and because ninth house wants to seek higher knowledge, but in doing so, it somehow feels free in doing that. It learns more about itself by exploring and learning about others and just gathering more knowledge and wisdom through its travel and through its journey, seeking wisdom. But that wisdom that you seek will then teach you more about you because it's a
Right.
1 degrees.
Okay.
So the other thing, these 29 degrees in your chart, you got a 29 degrees. This is why there was a trigger of a series of events because we recently had the Neptune up in the sky. We had it at 29 degrees in Pisces. So it was training your Neptune. So we had a 29 and a 29 matching up because now Neptune is sitting here. That's a really bad looking Neptune, but now it's sitting here in Aries at 1 degree. So it was at 28 and 29 talking to your natal Neptune. Now, your natal Neptune in this chart, this shows this in your 6th house of day-to-day routines, work, tasks, projects, and health could also be part of this.
Okay.
Neptune it can provide a blanket of security in terms of help and assistance because it's institutional energy. At the same time, Neptune can also make things and people disappear. Things can look fuzzy where it's like, holy shit, where did they go? Like for the United States, when Neptune was at the 28 and the 29, even a little bit before, the US, when this new guy came in, he started arresting people. And now we've got people who were legally in this country who've been sent to other countries and they're in prison. That's Neptune. So people disappeared, right? That's just an example. Yeah. Yeah. Foreigners, foreign lands, foreign languages. And Neptune can, put you on a boat, put you on a plane, whatever the hell, and you're gone. So people seemingly disappear. Just like we can go in the hospital and all of a sudden we're gone because we're in the hospital. So we're not seen. So that's more Neptune energy.
Okay.
Because it was in your 6th house, whether you work for a healing institution, it's possible, but a 29 degree, this is known as the millionaire degree or the billionaire degree, 29. And you've got it in multiple places in your chart. Your sun is at 29. I've had lots of people tell me, well, where the hell's the money? I'm always like, right? Because we've got a few, where they've got these 29 degrees. But it then would normally speak to either your family or partnership, somebody like insurance, because Scorpio is insurance money, inheritance. So I call it blood money. When I say blood money, people probably think I'm talking about something else.
Yeah.
But we can, so sometimes we can have relations or connections to those who have the extreme wealth.
Yeah.
Okay. So relationships, and whether it's with people who I'm in a relationship with or people I work for, but there's a connection to something kind of larger than life there with a 29 degrees Neptune in Scorpio, and you received a trine. Hopefully it didn't make something disappear that you didn't want to disappear. But Neptune can bring understanding and forgiveness, which usually brings a healing, especially since you had it in Scorpio energy. So whether it was an inheritance, maybe, maybe not, doesn't always. None of my Scorpio ever came off as an inheritance. I can tell you that.
No
But
inheritance.
but it is insurance money. It can be insurance money that gets triggered in some way.
Okay.
So the other thing about Scorpios, it's also taxes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. It is tax filing season. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it is taxes.
Okay.
The other thing here, according to this chart, you have a Jupiter in Scorpio. Scorpio is wounds, deep wounds and vulnerabilities, usually trauma and tragic stuff. You've got it in the 5th house. When people have Scorpio in the 5th, this speaks about possibly trauma from childhood when I was young. We can also have, the vulnerabilities and the wounds in terms of romance, dating, mating, relating, because that's this location. And Scorpio energy is definitely physically intimate energy.
Yeah.
For sure. So having a Jupiter in the Scorpio means that it takes those vulnerabilities and those wounds and it really exaggerates them.
Yep.
It really blows them up. It doesn't mean that the wounds aren't real and that it didn't happen. It just means that, well, you have a lot of stuff in Scorpio. So there's a lot of history here. So it's not just from this life, from this time around.
Okay.
It means you were born with, you brought in some traumas with you. You follow?
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So that's what makes it so hard, because it's trauma on top of trauma. Like, holy shit. And then you have to decipher, where is this from?
Yeah.
And it's really hard when you don't know where it's from, because you can't recall it. That makes it even more difficult. So having Jupiter there, Scorpio is the sign of people who need, who literally see psychiatric help in terms of being able to just talk to somebody to kind of sort all that through.
Yep.
So everybody does that differently, whatever works best.
Yep.
You just have to figure out what works for you. So you're saying so far a lot of yeps, I think. So you feel like this is you.
Yes, except for that inheritance and
yeah.
billionaires. I'm trying to
29,
figure out who amongst my friends are billionaires.
Yeah. Well, you even have Estrella at 29. Believe it or not, you've got Estrella sitting here at 29 degrees.
What does that mean?
And she's kind of like a pit bull. She doesn't give up.
Okay.
She keeps plucking away. So she can be super beneficial, except Virgo energy is tricky. You have a lot of it. You even have a South Node in Virgo.
Okay.
And your South Node in Virgo is telling you, woo, you have a focus on details. You can get drowned in the details. You may be overly critical in certain things, because Black Moon Lilith is conjunct your South Node, because the South Node is your superpower. So you have the ability to connect the dots. You have the ability to see the finite details that others kind of just pass over and skip through. And you're like, oh, wait a minute. I totally can see how this is happening or why this is happening. They like to be the fixer. They come in and they're like, oh, I see that. I can take care of that, so they might find out if, that they're always trying to fix something or someone. And that can be a problem if it's not welcomed.
Correct.
So Virgo energy, because yours is at 1 degrees, the overcritical stuff that you have, because this is the mind energy too. The mind doesn't want to shut off. You've got the South Node in your 3rd house of the mind, the thinking, the inner conversation that's constantly going on, and the details. Virgo is going to be, it's hard to deal with. And sometimes it definitely interrupts sleep, makes it hard to go to sleep even, or if we wake up, we can't go back to sleep. People who have all the Virgo they have to figure out all the little tricks to trick their mind when it's time to relax. So, your critical stuff, most Virgos say that they are most critical with themselves.
Right.
And because yours is at 1 degrees, this means, 1 degrees is self. So
Mhm.
you definitely have it. It's one of your superpowers.
Yeah.
The trick is with Virgo is to just learn to surrender. Not that you
Right.
haven't learned it, but this is more of that North Node energy, learning about self. And Pisces is surrender and acceptance and oneness and unity and seeing the beautiful side of the ability to surrender because it's like, well, I'm
Yep.
letting it go in the universe. It's in the universe's hands type of thing.
Okay.
And so that's going to be, this is going to be important to accomplish that North Node
Okay.
in Pisces for you. It's so that you can balance out all this Virgo energy, which is
Right.
all about the details. But Pisces is about the big picture. It says, I know that there's a flaw there, but you got to understand that in the grand scheme of things, this is exactly the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
Okay. So, yeah, that Virgo in the third with the mind can be quite tricky. You
Mhm.
also have it in the fourth. It's loaded here when people have the Virgo in the fourth. So being quite critical and seeing the details. Virgo wants to clean and organize, and there's a place for everything and a thing for every place. Like that's Virgo energy. It
Mhm.
wants it, like if you want to piss off that Virgo, you move something in the home. You know what I mean? You move
Yeah.
something. And then it's without starting an argument. You can just move something and walk away, you know, and, and you just kind of let it go. But that's how Virgo energy works. It
Mhm.
gets really irritated and
Mhm.
pissed about, if something's being moved and it's not where it belongs, then it doesn't make sense. It was there for a reason. Not just
Right.
all nilly-willy. With Virgo, there's always a practical reason behind it. It's
Mhm.
very logical. It thought it through.
Right.
These are great crafters. You've got it in the fourth house. So the home energy and there, yeah, you might want to just, for you, it might be, like all the other Virgo people, home would be a place where I'm keeping it organized and clean. And this is also pets, domestic pet energy too, by the way.
Okay.
Virgo energy, but projects and tasks and the to-do list. Oh my God. Writing the list to make a list. That's what they say about Virgo. We were talking about that last week. They write lists to make a list. So
Right.
anyway, this is all strong for you in the
Yeah.
mind and in the home and with family. And so scheduling and projects and
Yeah.
tasks and mom energy,
Yep.
home, big time.
Mhm.
Um, the last thing I'm going to touch on is your Mercury.
What is that? Okay.
Your Mercury, it's your mind as well here.
Mhm.
It's in Libra. So this can actually be beneficial to
Okay.
help. Um, it can help mellow out a little bit of all that extreme Virgo stuff because this Mercury right here actually rules this Virgo energy.
Mhm. Yeah.
Well, the Mercury is in Libra, which is about balance and harmony
Right. Right. Right.
and beauty. You follow?
Yeah.
So this Mercury, she will communicate in a harmonious way. So she's actually quite a benefit. So having her here, and she's at the harmonious 26 degrees. That's a Venus degree, which means when it comes out, it may sound really good because she literally will think about it first.
Yes.
And to make sure that it sounds like not correct, but just so it sounds nice, you
Okay.
know?
Yeah.
So that's a saving. That's a
The
huge.
saving grace for the other stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, she
Yeah.
can
Mhm.
absolutely, because her Venus and Mercury get along really well.
Yeah.
They're siblings. They get along. So that is a benefit for you. That's a big
Okay.
benefit. So and then your sun at 29 degrees. It's also in Libra. So it wants to be harmonious. The only
Yes.
thing I will add here, and I said I was going to stop there, but this last thing, Libran energy at 29, it is strong. These 29 degrees usually are very experienced energy. So they usually come across challenging things, challenging
Mhm.
relationships, challenging experiences because they're more experienced. So with the more experience, you have to have, yeah, your You're not taking the 101 or the 202, right? You're taking the
Right.
303 or whatever, and you're you're on that you're on a different level in terms of how I express,
Right.
because it's your sun. How I express in relationships, significant one-on-one relationships. These are business partnerships
Mm-hmm.
and also personal
Right.
relationships, people you're
Mhm.
really close to. Okay. So that Libra energy can come out strong, which is another huge benefit, because you have Mars and Uranus in Libra. So those can be a little abrupt and a little shocking at
Yep.
times.
Yep.
Yeah. So so there are some really beautiful markers here that you have, signature marks that, other than if you look at the chart without me drawing any lines, you can see
Yeah.
like you have this giant, you've got what I would call a Merkaba energy that goes all the way around. You've got the Solomon star in your chart. So these are, you will find in life that even in times of really difficult times, usually, usually there will be support. There will be some
Mhm.
sort of support there for you,
Yes. Agreed.
where it's just, it could have been a whole hell of a lot worse.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. So with that said, I'm going to end there, and you're more than welcome to come back. We do this every Saturday, except the last Saturday of every month, and
Yeah.
we can look
Can Can I ask
because
one question before we go, or do we?
what's your question? Go ahead.
The Venus in Scorpio. Joss has written this down for me. She goes, "What
Oh,
does this?"
okay.
Yeah.
Well, she's a retrograde Venus. Yeah. All right. So it's Venus, money, love, and desires. She's in a retrograde. So the Venus in Scorpio in a retrograde, Venus can be a little bit wicked because she controls our desires. That Venus rules the Libran energy here that I spoke about.
Yeah.
So with the Mars and the Uranus there, this can be tricky because you have a very strong Venus. Venus in Scorpio. First of all, she's her Venus power of being calm and harmonious. It's weak in Scorpio. It's
Mm.
weak. But because you have a retrograding Venus, she takes on some of the Scorpio qualities and the intensity of Scorpio.
Mm. Mhm.
Now, this is in the fifth house: children, fun, joy, creativity, romance. This is that physical intimacy and the wounds energy, right?
Mhm.
So, this Venus, she affects two parts of your chart. She affects the Libra energy and the Taurus energy, the love, the money, the finances, the making the money, the Saturn energy up here, and the seriousness and the intensity I spoke about, your
Right.
Saturn at the Scorpio degree, the intensity. But she also has a lot to do with the second house here, because Venus rules the second house. So Venus, my values, my
Mhm.
desires, my assets, our shared values, our shared desires, and romance comes up big. But children is also part of this because it's Leo energy and it's in the fifth house over here. Leo in the second and Scorpio in the fifth. So there's like a mutual reception that goes on between these two because they're in each other's, they're kind of sharing some of the same energies,
Mhm.
but intense energy with desires. Does this make sense for you?
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Joss is agreeing.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, without going super deep, when
Mhm.
we think of desires, right? And romance and intense stuff,
Mhm.
the mind can run wild, but you should be able to fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
25 degrees is self,
Mhm.
it's Aries energy. So it takes initiative, likely. It likes to start.
Yep.
Anytime we have Aries energy, it loves to start. It might not be great at finishing and carrying through because it gets bored easily.
Mm.
Venus at 25, especially a retrograde Venus, she's going to fight for what she wants, but at the same time, she's going to get bored easily. Like the newness wore off, So it can be tricky. And you have Uranus in relationships too, which is also screams exciting and different and new and daring. For real.
Okay.
Like that's there too. So there's a couple of signature points in here that, other than the moon in the second house as well, that they reinforce a lot of the Venus retrograde in Scorpio energy. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank
You
you.
are
Dee.
welcome.
That's
Yep.
amazing.
You are
Thanks,
welcome.
everyone.
Yep. No problem. Bye-bye. All righty. So let's see, where are we at? Let's see. Let me get that one down. All right. Let me save that. And let's scroll through here because I am not sure who's coming next or who is next, but so let me start scrolling here. Gibson's here. What's up, Gibson? I didn't know you were here. Alyssa and Angelo are here. Katz, Lou S. Okay, we got some folks here I didn't see earlier. All right, Gibson said I'm passing. All right, I'm trying to figure out who the hell came after this person after CG. Let me scroll all the way back. Who was the first to arrive? Let's see. Who got here after CG? Stephanie. Stephanie was here. Steffi, are you awake still? Are you here? She might be gone already. She's got 3 jobs. Yeah, according to this, Stephanie was after CG. Because I believe Teamwork had already said pass. Oh, I forgot Taffy is in here still. Oh, she is, and she's being a good girl. She's just laying down. Okay, so according to that, let me go. If Steffi's not here, then Christy said I pass. Christy said, if you need me to take Chloe, I will. Wow. Yeah, Christy's got. Don't you have Virgo in your midheaven, Christy? I think you do too. Yeah, I think you do. Kat's 420. Kat's, I don't think I have your information, but it looks like you're after Steffi. And I don't know if Steffi's here. And then I think then Gibson came in next, but I think Gibson said she was passing. How are you doing, Gibson? Life treating you well? Yeah, so if I don't have your digits, you have to get them to me. All right, so here we got a list. It took me a minute, Stacy, I found it. All right, so Gibson. I think Gibson said I'm passing. Yep, Gibson said she's passing. Katz, I don't have your digits, so we're going to move from there. Lou S says I'm passing. Wow, the list goes fast. Then it comes to Alyssa and Angel. So, Katz, you're next, but I don't have your digits. So it goes to Alyssa and Angelo next. Oh, we got Taffy at the door again. Nunya's here? Yep, I see Nunya would be number 9. Gibson passed. Yeah, Katz. I don't have Katz's information. So that would kind of be a, oh wait, Cats is putting July 31st, 9:09, San Francisco. The San Francisco treat. Oh, Kat said I emailed you. Let's see. All right. Cats. There you go. Cats did email me. What do you know? All right. Well, Taffy, I don't think that. Yeah, she hears somebody in the kitchen. And as soon as these cats hear somebody in that kitchen, they're like, I got to go. There's an opportunity for chow. It's time for me to fly. And it's not what she thinks. All right. So let's get this chart on here. Let me see. And we have July 31st, 1981, 9:09 p.m. Oops, it said 9:90. That wouldn't be right. 9:09 p.m. And let's see if I can spell San Francisco. All right, I think I did it. Woohoo. All right. So, Cats, have you seen your chart before? The chart I have shows an Aquarius ascendant, 27 degrees. Does that sound like you? Yeah, there's the updated list. It's a short one. We got Steffi on it, but I think Steffi must have went to sleep. Hopefully she's doing well. So we got Cats. Cats, that's you? Oh, all right. Well, let me take a look. I have to, yeah, I got to see what's what. Okay, is the software going to let me do this? You know, sometimes. Let me save the chart. All right, that helps. Thank you. And let's see if we can get this up here on the screen so we can see what's what. All righty, here we go. All righty, let me get that going. All righty. So, Cats, I didn't offer the link to you. I don't know if you wanted it. I'll just drop it below here in the chat. If you want the link, you can grab it and come on if you want. If not, that's okay. Whatever you're comfortable with. Yeah. Okay, let's see what I can see here. So we've got this, ooh. Wow. All right. So group energy, 27 degrees, communications. Kind of how Cats just showed up, right? Jumping right out of the box. Look at the midheaven, 11 degrees. Yeah. Sagittarius. You know what they say about Sagittarius. Yeah. And that trines the second house cusp line. Yeah. Your sun and moon have the midpoint right at 15. That's a big, powerful fire trine you got right there. No wonder. No wonder. 13 degrees in Aries on the second house cusp line. Holy shit, Aries at the Aries degree. Hold on. Taffy is doing her thing again. Let me see. Oh, hold on a second. Let me get this little kitty cat. You were doing so well. Yeah. I know you think you're missing a meal. Everybody's asleep out there, girl. They hear somebody cleaning up the kitchen and putting away food, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's treat time." I'm like, nope, there's no food. So yeah, this is me energy. Me. Aries degree, very fiery, very strong. Freedom is going to be big. Yeah, independence. Like that's Aries. So that's your values. That's what you value. Self is going to be pretty big there. And it's just got a very powerful grand fire trine with your midheaven. There's this big fire trine here. It's blue. It runs right across because in your 6th house, Leo energy, super expressive, super strong, really colorful, can be kind of loud. Your sun and moon, you got a moon at 21 degrees in Leo. That's a Jupiter degree. Holy shit. Leo, fun, children, joy, creativity, romance, how I take a risk. I forgot to mention that for the other chart. You know, it's not really so much about forget. It's, I tell you what comes out, you know, like what comes really prominent in my brain. But you see your sun at 8 degrees, Leo, super courageous energy. Yep. And when the lion roars, right? The boss energy. But you have this midpoint right here. Sun and moon meet right here at 15. So it's like this powerful, powerful trine, fire trine. These are like, yeah, these people with the big fire trines, they arrive on the scene, they're seen, they're heard, especially with Saggy at the midheaven. You know, this is boss energy. So they kind of step in the scene and they might kind of want to take over. Or at least look like the authority figure. This is my goals, my career. So this is travel, adventure, a seeker of wisdom and knowledge, higher education. This can be law and lawyer energy. Yeah, it's Sagittarius, religion, spirituality. At 11 degrees, 11 is, that's astrology. Yeah. So it's like, instead of studying astrology, maybe, this could be a person who, is an astronaut even, because I'm going to travel to the planets. I'm not just going to talk about them. I want to travel to them, damn it. Saggy loves an adventure. Loves an adventure. Now, because it's got this great support with the Leo energy, Saggy's pretty confident, and Leo brings the courage, right? And Aries is just ready. It's ready to go. It was born ready. Of course, it was born for war, but it's ready. It's got the youthfulness and a little bit of the naivete where it may not see the dangers that are ahead. Like that's Aries, super impulsive. When you have a Leo in the 6th house, 6 is the work, the day-to-day routines, the tasks, the projects, something creative. But Leo energies, having the sun and the moon, Leos can be quite performative energy and a bit dramatic even. These sometimes literally can be like these really phenomenal vocalists sometimes using that voice. You have a North Node in Leo. North Node. So your soul's goal, self. You see, self comes forward again. And your South Node would have been an Aquarius. What you, like a superpower that you came with, because you already learned how to do this. The group energy. This is something you've kind of already, yeah. So serving, not so much serving the group. Well, it is serving the group. It's, it's Aquarius, and that is supposed to be about the humanitarian energy and servicing the group. Yours is in the 12th house, Aquarius in the 12th. When we have a 12th house, this is service and sacrifice together. The service and sacrifice together. Now, what I think is fascinating is you have Hermes here. Hermes at 1 degrees, conjunct your south node. So having the Hermes there and your south node there, the history that you have, the soul history, the past, the karma, the soul history, with group energy, with astrology, with astronomy, with science, with experiments, with energy in general, with being unique and different. Yeah, this would absolutely give somebody another layer of confidence too. Friends and friendship, friends far from home, friends online, right? Friends across the pond, like people who speak different languages, even possibly because the online thing is strong. But yeah, Hermes is known as the first scribe. The first scribe. And so Hermes tends to bring a higher knowledge. And quite frankly, I believe that Hermes is kind of like a co-ruler of Aquarius energy. I think it does really well in Aquarius. I think Hermes functions on a high level there. It might get tricky because it's in the 12th, because that's the place of confusion and that's the depths of the ocean, right? So things can get murky sometimes. It's possible, depending upon what's where and the aspects and, the Uranus energy, which you have in Scorpio. Oh, Lord, this brings more history. Oh, my God. Okay, 26 degrees. Woo! Wow. 26. So that 26 degrees, again, 26 is the love degree, the Venus degree, the desire degree, and it's in Scorpio. The trauma, the tragedy. Yours is in the 9th house, so it can be connected to higher education, but likely religion, because we think of the past, the trauma and the tragedies of the past connected to it, but not just limited to that, to the justice system, authority figures, shocks and surprises, Scorpio energy with the Uranus energy there. This is like the physical intimacy and the deep bonds. Yeah. You have a retrograding Uranus too. So, lots of retrogrades. Uranus at 26 in red, Neptune at 22. These speak more to a lot of karma, a lot of the past coming through. Let me go look at your Cancer energy real quick. And your Mars. Okay, Mercury's at 28 and Mars is there. Okay, there we go. Whew. Holy hell past. You carry a lot with you. You carry a lot with you. You got water in the firehouse, right? When we got fire and water or water and fire, that mixture adds a whole nother layer of intensity. And Mars can inflame things, right? Emotions. You've got ready to rumble Mars and Cancer. I think we all know a lot about this now since we had Mars for 6 months in Cancer. Holy shit. Like we couldn't wait for Mars to get out of Cancer energy. Oh my God, it was so difficult with my mother. I wanted to put my head through the wall sometimes, but it was hard. Mars can be kind of wicked in Cancer energy because our emotions get the best of us. Mars inflames those waters, the emotions. And there's a lot of history. I keep saying history. But the beliefs, your history connected to the beliefs. And again, religion comes up again for you. Number 9. So there's something there with that history and wounds and traumas of the past Because look at even your Mercury, even though it's in Cancer, family, culture, heritage, my ancestry, all Cancer energy, mom and mother wound. Mercury's at a freaking Cancer degree, 28. That's a moon degree. So there's just so much from the past. And when we have this can have to do with wounds that we carry with us, but that we're still experiencing in some way based on our ancestry. Okay. And no doubt the lineage on mom's side of the family. But it could have to do with, like when we say the words mother wound, like, am I a mother, my ability to be a mom or not? However, my mom was or not. Did I have a mom? Was she in my life? Was she there? Your moon talks about your mom, and that mom energy at 21 is the freaking Jupiter degree. So that can go a couple of different ways. Mom could have been super creative. Mom could have been, like fun and playful and seemed like a kid even. When we connect it to Jupiter, let me go find your Jupiter. Oh, okay. You have your Jupiter in Libra at 6 okay. Well, that's interesting because, yep, this is in your 6th house. So having that Jupiter energy there, it can almost speak to, I'm trying to figure out, let me see if there's an angle to that. Oh, yeah, that's what I was thinking. All right, so the Leo energy squares or receives a square from the Scorpio energy. And what do you got in Taurus? Oh, the wound. Yeah, okay. So this speaks to communications, a wound about how I speak, not just speaking, but my thoughts, because Taurus tends to be a little on the slow side. Once it knows it and gets it, it does great. But sometimes Taurus energy can be difficult with Mercury because it slows Mercury in the mind down, right? But you have a wound here, 22 degrees. There's a wound, and the wound is an authority figure wound. And that authority figure wound, it's like an exact square almost to your moon, and that's mom energy. Okay, so that's some stress and tension with mom. And Uranus doesn't help either. And the the part of fortune, no, that's Fortuna. And Fortuna next to it, 25 and 26. Yeah, that creates this T square with fixed energy. So, there might be some fun and playfulness, but at the same time, there can be moments, there can be like a love-hate relationship sometimes because it's Taurus. Taurus wants to be pleasant and beautiful. But anyway, there's a communication thing. And yeah, that moon is being angled, and that moon represents my emotional security. It's also emotional stability. So this can also speak to your emotional stability and your mom's emotional stability. And there just might be some moments of tension. But what you have over here in fire, Neptune at 22, that sends a nice trine to your moon, doesn't it? It does. It's a surrender. It's an acceptance. I can see the big picture. But you also have Pandora's box at 21. And she's normally, she can be tricky. Even though it's a trine, it doesn't mean it's like blissful, right? She can be tricky because she's an exact trine to your moon. And that Pandora is like a can of worms. So things can be going good, and I might say something or have a belief about something or plans for the future or think something about my future. And it maybe even in the sharing of the plan might create the Pandora's box where a can of worms was opened where I shouldn't have said a damn thing. And it could even be something like travel plans because it's so close to Neptune, or my dreams about my future even. And again, religion and spirituality come up again. And the freedom is a big deal for this person. Traveling, Saggy. Traveling is a big deal. But also interpreting the law and scripture, languages, speaking different languages, literally being an interpreter. Yeah, Saggy can be being immigration, being like the world traveler, being a stranger in a different land. So there's just there's some stress, but then there's also some things that bring ease, that bring some ease. But overall, your grand fire trine is lovely. And I think that this Chiron and having Taurus in the third is a blessing for you. Because at first glance, it looks like this might be like, oh shit, this could be harsh. This could be like when we were small, when we were like trying to learn how to read. This would create slowdowns, and speak our first words. Maybe when we were young, we didn't talk until we were 2 or something. Because there's a wound here in expressing. There's a wound in expressing, and it's at the Saturn degree, which slows things down and creates a restriction. Okay. It's in the third house of learning and talking and communication. Okay. Now, I think that's a blessing because you've got some other things that are really strong by way of communication. Remember, right? I kind of talked about it right from the beginning. But the Mercury at 28 says that you can be a really empathetic communicator. Yeah. You can show a lot of empathy in your communication style, even though there might be some surprises there because it gets a trine from Uranus. You have a water trine there. So it comes with, there's some depth. Scorpio is all about the depth and shit that matters. And look at this, even your Pluto's at a Jupiter degree. Wow. Pluto at a Jupiter degree. So that adds more to the intensity. That adds, there's some wisdom. Jupiter can bring the wisdom. This is in significant one-on-one relationships, but this is Pluto in your 8th house. This is some deep shit. These are wounds from the past, significant one-on-one relationships. This can have to do in love relationships or professional partnerships. This is, the 8th house of vulnerabilities. Vulnerabilities is also the Scorpio energy. Trauma and tragedy, significant one-on-one relationships. Usually when we have this, like there can be some fear involved because there's just wounds from the past that haven't been healed. And the fear is something that's intense and deep that we can't see. And they usually talk about fear and associate it only with Saturn energy. But I think that Pluto can also, in the 8th house, there can also be like this intensity of a fear that kind of grips you. You'll know it when it happens. You absolutely know it when it happens because it literally kind of takes over. It's almost like feel like you're having an anxiety attack, which maybe is what it is, but it's it's just intense and it kind of blindsides us sometimes. We don't know where it's coming from. In a chart like this, well, that would make perfect sense to me. I mean, there can be moments where things occur in relationships where you can connect the dots, right? But there's also an underlying layer of trauma that's there. And it is in deeply bonded relationships and deeply bonded energy. Okay, so whether it's professional relationships or private relationships, it's for both. Whew. All right. So the last thing I'm going to touch on is your Venus, because this has to do with the desire energy. You have a smart Venus. I always like when I see people who, I think they're fortunate when people have a Venus in in Virgo, because Mercury and Venus get along, right? They get along. They're like a sibling energy. And, Virgo's smart. It sees the details and it's rational and logical. And it can keep a little bit of control on Venus's desire because Virgo is very practical. And it says, you know what? don't be stupid. You know what I'm saying? That Virgo be like, listen, connect the goddamn dots. You know, it won't let the desire of Venus run the show. I think I feel bad, and there's nothing I can do about it because I know Katz has popped in to talk a couple of times, and it keeps booting her out, or her internet, or his internet, whoever this is. I think the internet on your end is struggling because it doesn't hold you there long enough for me to click on it. Anyway, so now because your Venus is in your 7th house, this speaks to your partnership energy. So you could have some practical partnerships, which is great. Partnerships that aren't just on the desire, right? Especially since you got trauma. But this tells you about, this is like your love language, right? It's like the love language. It's also at a Jupiter degree. You've got Jupiter in so many ways in your chart. Wow. So significant one-on-one relationships, but practical partnerships usually can be the long-term sustaining ones, right? That are grounded, that make sense. But again, it's 9, so this can be foreigners, foreign lands, foreign languages, foreign countries. Yeah, in Venus, a desire and a love for those types of things. Travel is included in that. So there's just a lot of Jupiter all the way around your chart, but I think you kind of probably already are aware of this. Your Venus and Mars sextile each other. They both are at 9 degrees exactly. You see that, you guys? 9 degrees both ways. Yeah. So strong connection with your Venus and Mars energy. But yeah, I think you have some nice grounding energy. I think you do. So that's beneficial. Very beneficial. Because with all that fire, sometimes it's all up there, especially a lot of the air, the superpowers that you got with your air. That stuff needs to be grounded. So in a way, I think there's some things here that can be beneficial for you to help balance that stuff out. All right. We are ending that one. I hope you enjoyed that. You can come back anytime. In case anybody doesn't know, I do a private live. I need water. I got to see if that worked. A private live the last Saturday of every month. I'll have to repeat this. It sounds like hell. Okay. So the last Saturday of every month, private lives. Limited spaces available. Go to the email down below. Send me an email for more details. All right. Let's see where we're going. Oh, Lord, Steffi, I'm sorry. Oh, Steffi, let's get you in. I am so sorry. I didn't see you respond. Steffi, I apologize. Steffi is next. Thank you. Okay, let's get Steffi in here. All right, Steffi. Let's find Steffi's chart. Let's get it on. Let's get it going here. Let me see. I saved that one. All right. Okay, let's see. There it is. I got it. All right, Steffi, it's your turn. Are you coming on? She might not be able to come on. She might not be able to talk. But Steffi, I'll throw the link down for you just in case that you wanted to come on and see. Here you go. All right. There you go, Steffi. let's get you up here and let's see what we can see. If you got something going on in your life. I remember the last time you were here, you had a lot going on actually. You had it both ways. You had it at work and home. And that's saying a lot because you have more than one job. So that's too much. All right, Steffi. What am I checking out for you? Well, Mars is now in Leo. So Mars is in your, okay. So you got Mars, if I can get the chart up here, you got Mars conjunct your Saturn right now, Steffi. Okay. Okay, so you had a Mars quincunx when Mars entered Leo. And it was doing it with to your Mars in the second house of money and income. It was Pandora's box was there the whole time. Pandora's just been sitting there in Leo it's just been sitting there, like just really trying to stir the pot. And yeah, next to Mars, it can be a little tricky. However, oh, I see. It would have, yeah, probably would have kicked off as soon as Mars pulled away from the opposition of Pluto. So, your Venus, yeah, that's kind of light. Yeah, your Venus is at 22. Mercury is conjunct your Venus right now. And your Venus is connected to your South Node in Aries, so self. So Mercury's here, and your Venus, yeah, that's my desires. That's my money. That's my income, my creature comforts, and the freedom and self, my identity, my thinking and my communication style. I'm praying you're going to tell me something good occurred. You had a Mercury return when Mercury was at 17. It's now at 20. But the thing is we got Mercury and Chiron really close, and your South Node has Chiron on it. Right. You see that? And then you have your own Chiron. Well, that's not until 29. That's going to be a little bit of time, but you've just got a lot here. And I think your Chiron at 29 is being triggered, to be honest with you. I think there's a lot being triggered here. So our Aries energy, we feel almost like, we almost feel as though there's a threat to our existence. Right. Even though sometimes it might be like a, like an obvious threat, like someone's physically threatening me. But there can be things like, especially with Venus next to it, Venus and her creature comforts. Like, I'll give myself as an example. I know for me, I'm really sensitive to sound. So there are times, absolutely, where I feel as though I'm like under assault with sound. And what day was it? When Venus was last week, Venus was when Venus was at 29 degrees in Pisces, that day was so difficult. Like, I thought, it was like, I felt almost like on the verge of like a freaking nervous breakdown. I mean, that might be kind of extreme because obviously I kept doing what I was doing, but I felt like I needed to have headphones on, like real headphones, because what I was using wasn't working. The neighborhood was so loud, like the noise meter was just insane. And so it felt like it feels like a threat to me because, well, Venus, it rules Taurus, my creature comforts, which is my smell, my taste, my touch, what I hear, what I see. You follow? And it just felt like I was like a physical assault, even though it was with sound, So anyway, that's just a small example, and it doesn't have to be anything nearly like that, but it can have to do with communication styles and talking. And there's peers, there's siblings, there's coworker, and I think you mentioned there was a lot of coworker stuff before. And because this is a Mercury, like a birth of your own Mercury, right? Like a Mercury return, Mercury touching Mercury. God, I'm praying that this ended up being a good thing. So let me take a look at the transits for you, because I mean, I'm already there, but let me see if I remember last time you were saying there was just a whole thing with the coworkers. Well, Saturn energy is boss energy. So this can be definitely spouse energy, right? Because it's in your 7th house and Mars is conjunct it. And Mars can create problems. It inflames things and people, and it can be combative. I mean, that's just kind of the way Mars works. And Uranus is conjunct Algo. And you have your Jupiter and Uranus in the 5th house. It's at 28 in the 5th house of romance, dating, mating. Yeah, fun, right? It is there. Just give me a second. I'm trying to get my eyes to acclimate. I'm really trying to prevent myself from squinting. Just trying to be like, okay, come on. All right. So right now, Steffi has the sun up in the sky, triggering her Pluto in the 9th house, and it's in Libra energy, and it's about relationships and my beliefs about the future of a relationship. Steffi has a retrograding Pluto at that too. So it's intense, and there is always this change and intense change and transformation for sure. And the sun is triggering that Pluto for you right now, amiga. So if it's it could go both ways. It could be a boss at a work. It could be, a spouse. It could be anybody that's important to you. It can be all of the above. But there's wounds connected to this, and the past and the history. And yeah. So the Aries energy with the South Node, it's the North Node of balance and compromise, and the harmony, and finding, like, how can I meet somebody halfway? Like, that's the goal here. The Libran energy. That's the goal for you anyway. So it's in your 9th house, the beliefs about the future. Libra's at the midheaven. Yeah. So the significant one-on-one relationships is definitely all part of this, because all of this down here is opposing that midheaven. So there's a lot here with home and work being triggered. The emotions of self and the significant one-on-one relationships. Where did the Jupiter go? Okay, so you're still busy because you still got Jupiter. Yeah, okay, you got Cancer in your 6th too. Okay, you're going to be busy for a while then, with Jupiter going through the 6th house. And then you're eventually going to have this Jupiter on your moon. Okay. Ooh, that does activate things for you, doesn't it? Because then this Uranus is going to be touching your Jupiter. Wow. So Steffi, how are you preparing? Or did you, maybe that was what you were doing, working a lot to kind of maybe sidestep a lot of this? I don't know. But this is when Jupiter's getting triggered here, there's just a lot by way of intense relationships, because your Scorpio energy over here is being triggered by Uranus. Yeah. Here comes Humea and my values, my money. But again, this is all in the 5th house. Children, fun, joy, romance, and creativity. It's all in opposition. You've got Fortuna, which there's a change of fortune when Fortuna gets triggered. She already got triggered, but the sun is about to be in opposition to that. Now, that's 10 days away. But this Humea was opposing Fortuna. So shared interest and bonded energy. This can be insurance money, but it can be our deeply, physical bonded energy if we're in partnerships. This is friends. This is group energy. Your fortune changes at some point. And for you, it might have been a surprise because your fortune is at 23 degrees. And this Humea, hopefully this was something beneficial for you. Because we've had so much in Pisces. There's just been so much in those same degrees in Pisces. And you have multiple jobs. Has it been something good? Praying? I know you've had some hard stuff going on. She's like, I've been trying. Yeah, there's just a lot. So these would be the times where you're going to have to, whatever your go-to things that help you with your emotions, because you're having Jupiter showing up in a lot of ways, and that just expands things. It really does. Having Uranus there means it brings disruptions and surprises, and unless you're real thrilled about disruptions and surprises, yeah, this is just a hard. There's a lot going on here. And then with the Neptune, I'm really curious as to how you sound right now, because whenever you're here and you talk, everyone says like you've got this voice of an angel, and it maybe not even be it's the energy that your voice carries, which is, I think it always is fascinating as hell to me, because you have Aries in the 3rd house, so it doesn't make sense, but you have Pisces on that 3rd house cusp line, so it does make sense. It makes a lot of sense. And now we have Neptune sitting in Aries in your 3rd house. So your Aries energy is getting more Neptune energy. So maybe you've been sleepy and tired, because it's definitely a surrender energy. But the Venus now is at 2, and then you'll have Venus on your sun. So hopefully that will bring you something, that kind of just brings some peace, some peace. Venus likes peace and harmony for sure. She's not she would like a little bit of abundance too. Some gifts, damn it. That's Venus. And Venus, she is your greater benefic in your chart. So this might be a nice little piece of respite for you. But I hope that if you're tired and run down, if like your mind might be, you have Neptune going through the 3rd house. Yeah, you have Salacia there too. But once Mercury gets out of there, because Mercury's busy, once Mercury gets out of there, the Neptune, you might experience a little bit more of maybe not as chaotic, if it feels chaotic. Neptune might be actually providing a blessing for you right now. But that is institutional energy too, that Neptune stuff. So, this Pluto right here that's about to go retrograde tomorrow it's making connection, strong connection with your Cirrus in the relationships, significant one-on-one relationships. Yeah. So what will likely happen, it's a trine, but it's bringing changes because it's Pluto. It's bringing changes. And yeah, you know that your Cirrus is a retrograding Cirrus. Cirrus is how we feel nurtured. It has a lot to do with our moon energy, you know, feeling calm. What do I need to feel nurtured, right? So the relationships are big for you. And this Pluto, you know, bringing trine energy, if it's a relationship where change is wanted and needed and we're open to the change, then we can make a transformation together. But it will be a change. And if we don't initiate it, that's the thing about the Pluto energy. If we don't initiate the change, if we're not like, yes, let's do this, because we might have somebody who doesn't want to be a part of whatever this change is, because Pluto can, you know, the ruler of Scorpio can be like that. We need a psychology. I think I mentioned this in an earlier chart with somebody. We just need a third party or something, right? Yeah, if the Pluto energy doesn't come along, where both parties want to be a part of it, then it may take a relationship to a different level in terms of, well, then this may not exist anymore. That's a possibility. It's possible. So usually when we have like these Saturn or Pluto events and we're talking relationships, again, personal, professional, it either can make them stronger or they just they're over with. You know, it's like one or the other. We go through the tough times together or we don't, you know. So you do have Saturn sitting here at 28 and 29 is Hercules, and they're trining your Juno. Do you see this? You have a Juno at 29 in Scorpio. So the trine, Saturn can bring in, you know, it's this affirmation to our long-term commitment, to the Juno energy, which is the partnerships, and it's in Scorpio. Now it is in the group energy of friends. But it also has a lot to do with what goes on in that 8th house. And that's that romance department because you got Leo there. So it can affect that. It just comes down to, yeah. Saturn represents long-term commitments. And Saturn is going to be in Aries soon. So that will promise a change for all of us when Saturn goes into Aries, a change there. Something new will be happening. Now, that'll still be in your 2nd house of values. Because you're, I'm sorry. It's in your 3rd house right now. So it will be, I don't know why I just said that. I said it backwards. It'll be in your 3rd house like Saturn already still is. So maybe there will be a commitment to communication. Maybe that will happen. You do have a Jupiter Pluto midpoint at 5 degrees in Leo. Okay, and your sun trines that. All right, well, that's in your 7th house. Your sun's always trining that. And your Mars just went over that. So I'm probably not telling you anything you don't know. Yeah. Yeah, I see that it's I don't know if it's not letting anybody in now because I'm not hearing anybody trying to pop in. I see you're saying that you're trying to talk in the stream. Yep. That's okay. Maybe yeah, it's just it's not showing that you're popping in or anything. So you can try to come back on another night or you can email me and you can see if you want to get in on the private lives. Because on the private lives, you won't have to worry about this crazy link business. You know what I mean? Like if you're there, you're there. You're getting a link in advance and you're there. So for right now, oh, yeah. Yeah, that's that Juno in the 11th. That's that Juno in the 11th. So, um, just, yeah, this is, well, I can't tell you what to do, but this is tricky. This is tricky. And it just comes down to knowing what your long-term commitments are and making a decision on that before you begin a new adventure. That's what it comes down to. I'm sorry, my shit's doing all sorts of weird shit. It's gone haywire on you. So, on the verge of a possible affair, still asked for marriage counseling instead, but it's been crazy. Yeah, so you're still going through it. I know, and it's not from the looks of this with the Jupiter stuff, because the Jupiter can be, yeah, Mars and Jupiter can be that other, yeah, that other partner that shows up. The thing is nothing for right now, whether we're talking about a job or the love stuff or an affair, romance, whatever, just remember everything is in flux still. Because when we have Neptune in Aries and then Saturn in Aries, they're both going to go back into Pisces, which means it's all going to change again, So all I know is that if something is supposed to be there, because currently in the moment we're already previously committed, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. It'll be there once you finish up this commitment, if that's what happens. But I do know that for you, unfortunately, change, you do have, these Jupiter and these Pluto points. You've got Pluto and yeah, like you've got things where change is just there. It's just there. So I would, well, astrologers said May 3rd would be very big conflict day. Well, that's today. Did you have a big conflict day today? She said, was my quick question. What was your quick question, though, Steph? I'm not seeing a question in this. Maybe I should get my phone. You're literally getting beat up at the job? Oh, Lord. From the patients, I'm assuming. That damn Mars on the Saturn. Did you guys see that, right? Yeah. And then the Jupiter's at the Saturn degree as well. And emotions, because the Saturn up in the sky is at the moon degree as well. Yeah, you got to figure out how to get yourself a break by patience. Yeah, so I don't see your question, though. You're saying that you're trying to get a quick question, but I don't. Let me get my phone. Maybe I'm just blind. Well, I am, but well, I'm not. Did she ask a question? Trying to talk to you. Been trying. I'm scrolling backwards and I don't see a question. Been trying to get in the stream. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know. It's showing my internet is fine on my end, but sometimes when people have at the site when people have a weak connection, it won't let you. Can I even see the chat on my damn phone? Yeah, I don't even know why I said that, because my phone usually. Oh no, my phone's actually showing me the stream. Holy shit. All right, so Stacy, before I turn off your chart, is there a question that you want to type in real quick? Was wondering about May 3rd and conflicts. but that's today. So are you about to go to work? Is that what you're saying? Well, in your chart, yeah, you got, I mean, it's not just May 3rd. At least I don't think so. I mean, yeah, we got Mercury at the Pluto degree. Okay. We got Mars sitting on your natal Saturn. It's getting close to it. There's multiple things that are, you know, that can show conflicts. It's not great that Saturn's at the moon degree because you work with the public and you're working with people in an asylum, people who, yeah, this would be some difficult energy. And, Pluto's going to go retrograde tomorrow, which means Pluto's just sitting here. Even though it's not retrograde yet, it's not moving. It didn't move yesterday. It's set at 3 degrees and 49 minutes for like 4 or 5 days now. So it adds to the intensity of group energy. Group energy. And where's Stacy's group energy? In her 11th house. And what does she have there? Scorpio. Right. Yeah. So we got Juno in a retrograde up there. And you have objects here. You have objects here getting triggered. Now, there's a nice strong trine and Sirius. They're trining all that Scorpio energy. It's water. It's adding support to that. Now, the trine doesn't mean that it's going to be beautiful. It just means there's a lot of heightened emotions. So whether it's conflicts or not, to me, this is a time that is not going to be limited to just today. Especially since Venus, maybe they're saying, well, Venus is at the Venus degree. So, it's about its own desires. But, well, when Venus goes to the 3 degrees, which, yeah, it's going to take Monday before it gets there? Yeah. And then by then, Mercury's going to be at the 23 degrees. Yeah. But she will be, Venus will no longer be on your Venus. And that's the thing. You, at least right now, have Mercury conjunct your Venus, even though this Mercury, again, is at the Scorpio degree. And that's Mars and Pluto, combative energy, right? For people who are listening who might not understand. I know Stephanie understands, so it's okay because she gets that part of it. But well, if you see that in your progressed chart right now, I'm just looking at a plain basic chart. Yeah. And so if you've already seen it in your chart, but I'm showing you there's definitely intense emotions here, regardless of what you see in any other chart. There's definitely some intense emotions. You've just got a lot of when the Jupiter triggers all these objects that it's triggering, because Jupiter just exaggerates and expands on stuff. And the work is your great malefic, your work. So if you're asking this, like, should I call off? Shit. If you're being beat up, absolutely. like I wouldn't, to me personally, I couldn't, there's no way I could, there's no way, me personally, no, I could not handle being at a place where I'm being physically there. I couldn't handle that. There's no way. But Mars touching your Saturn, which is your great malefic, and you have a retrograding Saturn. You follow? Yeah. And it is work. You have a Saturn at 10 degrees. Saturn's working. So is the 10 degrees. Yeah. So, yeah. So I hope it's helpful. But again, just from the basic stuff. Well, yeah, you need a reprieve. You need a respite. You need a respite. I mean, if there's any way you could take some time off, and that would be the way to use the astrology. When you see so many things being aspected, connecting, and that are communicating, when they're being triggered, especially when your great malefic's being triggered by Mars, right? I would like schedule, vacations at that time, especially when it's away from this sort of a job. Even if it doesn't has to, it doesn't mean that you have to go travel somewhere. It just means you're not there, you know, because yeah, that's it's a time where you can look at it and be like, "Oh shit, it's going down." Yeah, there's just a lot of intensity. And the Pluto retrograde will promise intensity and group energy for sure. And remember that Pluto is in Aquarius, and that Aquarius is your 11th house. So if you need a break, get yourself a break. Oh, yeah, get a transfer for sure. For sure. I can take hits. I just don't want bad injuries. Wow, you know that listener. All right, well, you do what you got to do. And in the meantime, yeah, yeah, I can't, I can't give you advice on that other stuff. At the end of the day, that's your decisions you got to make. And I just don't want your life to get more complicated than it is. You are welcome. Oh, I know, right? I know. It's a good story too. I might have to save it for next week. It's already 11:48. Thank you, Steffi. Yep, you're welcome. Sorry we couldn't talk because, man, with Neptune and Aries, I sure wanted to hear your voice tonight. Absolutely. All right, let's see if there's I only got a little bit of time left, but well, maybe because there's only a little bit of time left, we just Stacy, who was next? Cuz maybe instead well, I personally, Stacy, I just have too much history. Yeah, with that kind of shit. I couldn't yeah. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Yeah, okay. So what we can do is this. Instead, Alyssa, she said that you're next. I don't know if you're still here, but come back next week because I end in like 9 minutes. And I hate to pull up a chart and be like, okay, there you go. 9 minutes is up. So come back next week, try to get here and be ready like right at 9:30 so that I can get you on first because it's first come first serve. So it's still going to go by whoever shows up first because life happens and sometimes people show them, they don't. But in the meantime, let me go see if I can go check out this. Yeah, so for people who are here, if you're waiting and you didn't get in, people who send a channel gift, I spend more time on their charts. That's just the way that works. It's common sense, right? You take care of me, I take care of you. So if you got a chart looked at and I don't spend a whole lot of time on it, if you want more time, then come back next time. You give the channel a gift and then we go a little bit deeper for you and we can look at transits then. Like that's how we do that. So I want to show you guys since we only have a little time left, let me go find the spooky story. Let me see if I can. I saved it, but sometimes I can't find my stuff. I'm like, where is my history? Where, like right now, I'm looking for it. There it is. Okay. Let's see if it works though. Oh yeah, it's here. Okay, so let me click on this. Okay, let me get back to you guys. Let me get this over here. Let me click on this. Let me click on this and let's see if it works. All right. Can y'all see that? Yeah, I think you can. Let me expand on this a little bit. Okay. Are you guys ready? Let's get this going. This is Donnie Laws. Donnie Laws is a YouTuber. He's in Appalachia. And he's one of my YouTube neighbors. I have literally maybe 5, if even. And I like to keep that number small.
You ever see the beautiful old homes throughout Appalachia and these mountains
Turn up your volume.
that seem to be standing old, vacant? Now, there's so many stories of ghosts, and we call them haints here in the southern Appalachians.
Oh, let me get my
Not
face over
ghosts,
here.
but old haint stories. And every community has them all through these mountains. And like I said, you see these old houses throughout these mountains that sit vacant and wonder who lived there, what happened there, what family lived there, and why is it vacant. Most have just growed up the kids and moved off. But some places just can't be lived in. Now, the old people of these mountains, especially our elders, they can tell you stuff that would just scare you to death and swear by it. And they have no reason to lie to you. What they didn't really care if you believed them one way or another. But if you knowed them and they trusted in you, they'd tell you some hair-raising stories. These old mountains. Now, my people have been in these mountains for hundreds of years. Got Cherokee blood in us. And my grandmother, although it was just a gift that was passed down through the generations, that they could sense stuff, or stuff would come to them that they didn't want to. A gift they really didn't want, but they had. In my family, mostly old farmers, loggers, and a lot of coal miners, just like me. But anyway, she could tell you, she could go by a place and look at it, and she could tell you that place is haunted, and swear by it too. And other places, it wouldn't. But she lived when she was young, raising a family in these old coal mining camps. And she would tell me little old stories like there was certain houses that couldn't be lived in. And I'd ask her, what are you talking about? Well, she said one such a place was an old home here that people tried to live in, and every night they would hear a baby crying, but they couldn't figure out where it was coming from. Night after night, people would move out, and somebody else would move in. The same thing would happen. So as word got out, this place just became vacant, rotted away, gone. She'd tell me such stories. Well, another such story is another good friend of mine, Oak Mountain Kurt. He'd shared stories with me, and he's from a coal mining family too. And his mother told him a hair-raising story here that I'll share with you. Now, this old story comes from the coal fields of the old mining camps of 100 years ago. Some of these mining camps had nice homes, but most looked like this. Just simple places, just for the family. And some of the better houses were 2-story houses for the foremen and the upper echelon of the mining company. Now this couple, these mining places were booming, and they were wanting workers real bad. And this couple come into this mining field. He got a job here at this company. And they couldn't believe the deal they got on this house. It was furnished by the company, but they had to pay so much. It wasn't no electricity or no indoor plumbing. But they couldn't believe they got this big a house, and they hadn't had no kids yet. They hadn't started a family. And they thought that was strange, but they took the deal since it was a nice place. It had big old long stairwell. Nice place looked like. They couldn't believe it. And had a really nice fireplace in it. But it was run down a little bit. And she noticed there was like somebody spilled paint or something on the floor in front of the fireplace. And she tried to clean this up. And the harder she tried to get it up, the brighter it got. Thought that was awful strange. But that was just about the house. And they settled in here. And a night or two, they were sleeping upstairs in one of the 4 bedrooms. And they hear something moving around. Like somebody coming up the steps. It kind of scared them there. A few minutes, they could hear something like stomping or going down the steps. They'd listen, and he'd just start fading away as it went down the steps. Well, they thought that was strange. They scared him. They jumped up there, and he tried his best to get a match lit. And every time he'd light a match, it'd just go out, like something blowed it out. So he tried again, and something would blow it out again. My goodness, what in the world? Well, he finally kept trying and got an old light match lit, got the old lamp lit, started easing around the house, but couldn't find a thing. Couldn't find a thing. Well, that went on for a night, maybe or two, he said, until his wife seen something during the day while he was at work. A lady going up the steps. You could see plumb through her, just floating up the steps. She'd had enough of that. They weren't going to stay there, so they went and stayed with some relatives, he said, until they could find them another place. And they moved out of there. And while they was moving out of there, her neighbor happened to come over and say, "Y'all moving already?" "Yeah, we can't stand this." And got to talking to her neighbor and said, "Well, we thought you knowed about this or you'd never took this place." Well, I never did know it. Never did. She got to telling the story of it. What's wrong with this place? Well, she said they was a couple of brothers that were engineers or something high on the hog that worked for the company. And they lived in this house. And they got involved with a young woman, the brothers did. And both of them fell in love with her. It was kind of a love triangle going on. Well, after a while, she finally picked which one she wanted, and she married him. She was married to him. And the other brother got so jealous because he was in love with her that he slipped in there one night and killed them both. Killed them both as they slept in the bed. And then he allegedly drug her down the stairs. Drug her down the stairs by the feet. So that sound of hearing that thumping was her head hitting each one of them steps as he drug her down the stairs. And he drug her in front of the fireplace and left her lay. And he sat down there, heartbroken at what he done, and realized that he killed his brother and the woman he loved. So he just took his own life. And ever since then, nobody's been able to stay in his house very long, of all the things that's happened to him. Well, that was the story of that. And I reckon as time went on, this got word out more and more around the area. Nobody would live in this house. So it just went into decay, and eventually they burned it down. And that goes to show there's all kinds of stories like this around these areas, these mountains. You don't know nothing about a house that's vacant. It could be just somebody just abandoned the house. But some places, some tragic things happen that remain imprinted in time in these areas, and nobody can live in. So that's a sad story. But there you go. Now, another story was told to me of these old mining camps. These are the mining camps of old. They got gold. They got really old and outdated, and there's nothing they could do but tear them down. So they was tearing them down. This comes from a good friends of mine that worked in the mines with me, electrical, and he's having to watch them. That he'd get into the power tearing these old houses down. And they said they're watching this one house tearing it down, spraying water, keep the dust down. An image of a woman appeared out on the porch in white. They stopped the machines just to sit and watch. What is that? They was amazed by it right in the middle of the day. Said it just changed into like a ball of light and left the house and moved around the area around the house and the machinery a couple of minutes. Well, a couple of seconds, they said. And then it just went off into the sky, disappeared. And they tore down dozens of these old houses, but this is the only one that ever happened to. Now, that's a strange one. And I know these guys really good. Some more old pictures that I see of these old houses. I get permission to get in them or get real close to them. Here's a picture. Everybody sees like clouds. Everybody sees different things in their own images. But that looks like a clown to me, don't it, you? That's just images in these windows and these old glasses. Now, don't that look like a face right there? Or a couple of faces? Is that my imagination? Now, the light and these old glasses and these old windows can play tricks on you. But here's a weird one I took of them. Looks like 2 or 3 faces here. Strange, these old houses. Now, it could be my imagination. Do you see the same thing I'm seeing? I thought I'd show these to you. But the weirdest that I'd ever seen, I done an interview with old Bill. You may have seen the video of his old home place. I even showed it to him up in the upper window there. I showed this to him. You can see the woman up there peering out the window at you. And I showed it to him, and he said it looked like his grandmother. He couldn't believe it either. But there you go. Ain't that a strange picture? I thought I'd share this with you. And I get in these old homes, the most scariest thing I ever caught on the camera is this right here. I can't explain this. This looks like either a little girl or a little boy in a nightgown in an old bathroom in an old home that's being renovated. You just don't know what you'll see. Well, these old homes, there's a lot of history that we don't know nothing about when we see them. Some of them are beautiful old homes. Some of them are just vacant, going in decay. So I hope you enjoy these little videos and stories of the old haunted places in Appalachia. So thanks for watching. God bless, and I'll see you next time.
All righty. Woohoo. We got Taffy in here. And Taffy came in to say, Good night, everybody. Taffy 2 says, I'm signing off. I got to get in my bed. She's been having sneezes. She's a lot better today. Last 2 days, she's been sneezing a lot. Today, she's all better. At least she seems like it. All right, everybody. You have a good night. Hope you enjoyed Donnie Laws. He's always got some good videos. Good stories. And he's got that great voice. That great voice. Man. Yeah, you guys, you have a good week too. Stay calm, stay cool. And yeah, just try to stay. His voice is creepier than the story. I love his voice. You were creeped out by his voice? Oh, I love Donnie's voice. He's got like, man. I mean, yeah, I'm used to it, but he just, the first time I heard his voice, I was like, isn't that not the best storytelling voice in the world? Hell yeah. All right, Taffy, we're ending it. All right, everybody, you have a good night. Thank you for everybody who sent in money, who gifted the channel. And if you didn't get your chart looked at, come back next week. And you always have an opportunity to join us on the private lives. There is limited seating available on those, so you have to reach out as soon as possible because it's already almost full. Okay, it's limited availability. It's the last Saturday of every month. Email me and we'll start a communication from there. All right. Good night, everybody. Say bye-bye. Look, do you see her hair everywhere? Oh, my God.